So if you're an online coach, you want the secrets in terms of how to scale your business. We've got Ollie here, who's 26 years old, has a hugely successful business, has recently moved to Dubai, is making over £25,000 a month, and is achieving what most people want, which is time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. And we're going to delve a bit into Ollie's journey, how he's got to the point where his wishes have become reality, because you said to me in the car on the way here you wanted to be in Dubai by November this time last year. So big thank you for your time today.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
First question to ask you is, did you ever think you'd be in the position you are now at 26, earning the money you do and living in Dubai?
Not at all. So I started the business when I was 23, so about 3.5 years ago I started. And to begin with, it was just to kind of help people out and try and transform physiques. I never even thought of it to be a business that you can actually scale down the line. So I never thought I'd be here right now.
From the idea of starting the business and the inception of that, what got you first into coaching?
So I was already posting on social media, so posting about my transformation. I was getting a lot of messages, so people saying they're in a similar position to myself. How do you do this in terms of nutrition, training? And then I was posting, I was getting more and more followers, and that was going up in terms of social media. And then I had a few people reach out to me saying you should do online coaching. Kind of brushed it off at the time, but I knew I wanted to get into fitness. So I'd just finished uni, COVID had hit, and I was like, well, what do I do now? I knew I didn't want to work in an office, and I knew I was really into fitness. So I was like, I was going to try and become a PT. So I'd signed everything up. I was going to do PT on the gym floor. I'd actually applied to a job, was going to start a Nuffield, and then I was in contact with a few people who were saying do online, and I started growing my online, and I didn't even go onto the gym floor in the end. I went straight into coaching, and just invested a lot of time into courses to try and kind of gain as much knowledge as possible. And then here I am, 3.5 years later.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if you went into PT?
Yeah, I do think that, but I think what would have happened is I would have done it for a few months and then gone straight onto online, because what a lot of people don't realise is that online produces a lot better results than PT. And if you're a good online coach, of course, if you've got the knowledge there, if you've got the structure there, then you're going to produce better results. There's a lot more focus on diet, there's a lot more focus on kind of structure to someone's routine, whereas in-person PT, and you're there for an hour a week.
Babysitting. Yeah,
basically you motivate somebody through the session, but you're not actually focusing on everything else what goes on throughout the week. So I think online coaching is a lot more results focused, which is what I'm interested in, and that's what I want to do. I want to produce as many results as possible, and then I've scaled from there.
What did you study at university?
Public relations, so nothing related. I guess it helps a little bit in terms of growing the business social media wise. So yeah, a lot of kind of marketing, advertising. But
for anyone listening to this right now, would you go to university and go through getting a degree, or would you just try and start an online business?
Not a chance would I go to university. If I had the knowledge I knew now, there's no chance I would do it. That's business related. It did benefit me in terms of social skills, because I went to university not the most confident of guys. I grew up quite skinny, was quite insecure, and then I grew confidence at uni. That really helped me. But in terms of actually business and financial freedom, university is not going to help you. Even if you're studying to be a doctor, you're still not going to be financially free, and location as well. You're not going to be able to be free as well.
This is why I think it's so interesting, because the education system is so flawed that the system is designed to put people in pigeonholed in jobs where they can't come out of the system. They don't want people like you who can then respectfully fuck off to Dubai and go do whatever you want. That's not what the government wants. That's not what anyone wants. People want to go get big student loans, get stuck in the system. They then get a 9-to-5 job, and then they have a mortgage, and then they're in.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why I'd say anyone who's younger now, you have to be in the position where you can take the risk. And if there's no risk, no Ferrari. You need to go and fucking do the thing and try it. And the younger you are, the more ability you have to take risks, because you've got less responsibility, and also you've got more time to fix things if they go wrong. Yeah,
of course. I wish I knew what I knew now at 18. I was a naive young boy basically, and I didn't have any focus on business. I didn't really have any goals in place at all, so I didn't focus on growing a business, didn't really care about money, and I just went to uni because I didn't know what else to do. And looking back at that now, of course, it puts you in a lot of debt, so it's not the greatest thing to do at 18. The only thing that has benefited me is getting out of my hometown, because if I just stayed in my hometown, I worked a job, then I might not have been as confident as I was to kind of get into the coaching itself. So that's the only thing that's benefited me going to uni is just socially, really. Nothing to do with the lectures or the course or investing any money into it.
You mentioned you wish you knew now when you wish you knew now what you know when you were 18.
Yeah.
What would that be?
So that would be that if you run your own business, you can scale it to, or however you want to scale it, really. You can just keep going, and that's, with my personality, that's what I enjoy. I want to keep working towards new goals. It's been the same with fitness, and now it's the same with business, and I want to keep scaling, helping as many people as possible. And then of course it helps you a lot financially, because if you can make as much money as possible, if you're good, if you master your craft, if you're a good coach, you're providing good results, it's just going to be upwards from there. And when I actually invested in the business itself, it was nothing to do with financially at all. I didn't even think of it financially. I just thought, I want to get into fitness, I want to help people. And then now I'm into it. It's mental. If you're good at what you're doing, you've got the right kind of structure in place in terms of scaling, it can be massive, and yeah, you can earn a lot of money.
From what would you think would happen if you started when you were 18 now?
Well, to begin with, I don't think I would have been a very good coach, just because I was skinny, I was insecure, I didn't have as much confidence. But if I had started at that point, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd had so many more years behind me, if I had that knowledge at that time. Cool. I couldn't even tell you.
But it's the same thing for me. So I started when I was like 28, 29, and this is the big thing. Anyone listening to this, you need to take in, is you, like myself, everyone is paying a huge amount of ignorance tax with the things you don't know. So the reason you're not making the money you want is because you're not as good as you think you are, and you don't have the skills that you need to get to that level. And I think one of the big problems I see, particularly with some young men, is that they're very arrogant in the fact that they won't let other people help them. And the most important skill I see in people who are successful is they're very coachable. So they ask a lot of questions, they implement things really quickly, and they're not afraid to fail, because like a lot of things don't work in business, or they don't work the first time. And it, like, particularly if you talk about paid ads, which is nothing we can come into, but or even making content, like the first piece of content you make doesn't go viral. Like,
of course.
No one fucking cares. You've got no followers, right? So, but like the 100th piece of time you do it, it might work.
100%.
The problem is most people give up before they get there.
You've got to be really, really disciplined with everything you do. It's the same with the gym. If you're consistent with the gym for years to come, you get the dream physique that you want if you've got the right knowledge in place. And that's the same with business as well. You've got to stay consistent with things, and so many people give up too soon. But if you have that knowledge behind you, same with transforming your physique. If you've got the training knowledge, nutrition knowledge, you're going to achieve a great physique. If you've got the knowledge in terms of business behind you, and you've got someone like yourself helping you, you're going to get to that result a lot quicker, same as you would in terms of transforming your physique. You see results quicker as well.
Interesting question for you. Do you find now, as your business is growing and you're still at a relatively young age, your perspective of money and like wealth has changed?
Yeah, I didn't. As you're younger, you think that the people who are the wealthiest people about are bankers, people earning 100k a year, 150k a year.
When I was like 21, my goals make 100 grand a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at that age, I was thinking, cool, they're doing really well, and I didn't even think. Since moving to Dubai, it's really opened my eyes up to see kind of the wealth of some people. It's unlimited. You can keep growing it. If you're good at what you do, you can keep scaling.
100%. And there's a really a good quote I like, which is, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. And like once you have loads of money, like you buy the fucking Ferrari you want, you buy the property you want, whatever, you realise you don't really care. Like my life is the same. I still go to the gym, I still eat the same stuff, like nothing will change. You just have a nicer car and nice house, whatever. But the reality is you want to get to the point where you just, like, anything you want, you have. There's nothing you're like desperate need for it, and that's where it's just a perspective shift. 100%. And also you get into, once you're into that business and your business is growing, you get addicted to it, and you want to keep competing with yourself, and it's nothing to do with the money itself. It's about it's the game. I want to be a better coach. I want to earn more money. I want to be more successful, and you're competing with yourself, and it's nothing to actually do with the money in itself. I mean, I don't go out and spend stupid money, even though I'm earning quite well. It's just kind of, I'm competing with myself, and it's something I enjoy doing. I've always liked kind of working towards goals, same with my physique as well. And I want to produce the most transformations as well. So I want to be posting more and more transformations, be more and more successful. And it's just, you're always working towards something. It always keeps you busy as well, which is nice. And I know this will be something that is true to you, because for me, one of the most important things is I get a huge amount of fulfillment from helping people. So I had a couple who on our CEO program have hit the first £105,000 month this month, like over the fucking moon. They've only worked with us for like 3 months, and that for me is my ability to completely change someone's life.
Yeah, of course.
And that for me is hugely fulfilling, more than like another 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for you when people message you of like, you completely changed my life, can't believe I look like this.
Yeah.
Like that in itself is an addictive process in terms of like shit that makes you feel good.
Yeah, of course. So it's the same with clients. With clients who are really on it, who, for example, I've got guys who sign up for 12 weeks, and one example is I've got my mate on board at the moment. He's coming to Dubai in 6 weeks, and I'm on him every day because I know he's dropping weight at a good pace. He's progressing on his lifts. He's shaping up really well every single week, and I become addicted to his process. So I'm on him every day to a point where if he's not out here shredded and we don't get a good photo, I'm going to be really pissed off. So it's just, you just get addicted to things, and it's just part of the business, really.
What I like what you said there is your personal interest in people as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give an example. I've got Nathan Johnson, who's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
I said to him, it's like, we have to get you to more than 100k a month before November for our event.
Yeah.
So it's like, tomorrow I'm going to meet with him for 2 hours. We'll literally go through all this shit in person. I was like, I will force you to do this.
Yeah.
If I have to fucking take the sales calls.
Yeah.
So like, and that's where you having an invested interest in people's journey and actually really giving a shit is what makes you really good as a coach.
100%.
And people see through people who are just trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Or people who actually just want to help people. And
yeah, of course.
something which is a really good saying is like, if you want to become a billionaire, you help a billion people. Like, the more people you help, the more successful you just become.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's the same. And then you can, if you're good at what you do and you are really helping people, you can charge more as well. So when I first started, I was charging, I think I was doing like 90 quid a month or something for coaching. And at the time I thought, I can't physically charge any more because I don't think I've got enough knowledge right now to be charging more. And then as I invest in a lot of courses and I gain as much knowledge as possible, and I'm gaining more and more knowledge, I can keep up my prices, and now I feel confident charging a higher price because I know I can guarantee them results if they stay consistent. And then once you start charging higher prices as well, they stay a lot more consistent, you get better results, and it's just part of the process.
It's the analogy of having skin in the game. So like, the reality is what happens when people increase their prices. You increase your price, clients get better results because they're more bought in. The type of clientele you tend to get are better. And the same thing also happens when you start to charge up front for like 6 to 12 months instead of monthly. People are psychologically bought into like, cool, in 6 months time I'm gonna get the best shape ever with Ollie. Whereas if they're like, yeah, I'm just going to pay this monthly and like let's see how it goes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. If they've invested an upfront payment, they're always a lot more consistent, and of course it benefits us as coaches because of the cash flow as well in terms of the business. But it means they're going to get results because of they're staying consistent with things.
Would you say you had limiting beliefs about how much you could charge, and how has that changed maybe over the last 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I did, because I always thought in my head that no one is going to kind of invest in the program at a certain price, mainly because I just thought people don't have that much money and so on. But it's because the kind of clientele I was targeting previously was too young. And
it's one of the first things I said to you.
Yeah, that's been a real game changer since kind of starting with you. Is the kind of guys I'm targeting now are between the ages of really kind of 30 all the way up to 60. I've got a couple of guys 61, 62 who are crushing it, and I prefer working with the older audience because I prefer working around their work lives, making sure we're really focusing on schedule, and they are a lot more consistent. They want it a lot more. When kind of jumping on those initial calls, those consultation calls, they're saying, look, I want to do this because of X, Y, Z. They might be giving off good habits to their kids. They might have health issues they want to resolve. There's a lot more motive behind them, and that's why they're willing to invest more money, and that's why they get better results. So yeah, I'm done with kind of coaching 18, 19-year-olds. It was a nightmare.
And that's what I say to people is like, choose the point of what you want the business for. Is it like, I want to make money, help people, or I just like coaching people and I just want to have fun doing it?
Yeah,
because it's the same thing I talk about people. If you coach people for bodybuilding shows who are 20 years old, it's going to be very difficult to be highly financially successful doing that. Yeah. Because your clientele aren't going to pay you 2-3k for a coaching program.
Yeah, of course.
It's just going to be unrealistic. I think that's an important thing to understand.
Yeah.
Online coaching's changed, I'd say, a fair bit the last year or two.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest problem with online coaching right now that you see other people doing, or the industry as a whole?
In terms of kind of growing the business?
Yeah.
Similar to what you said earlier, I do feel like people are arrogant. They feel like they know it all themselves, and I was pretty guilty of that with certain situations, not just kind of my business, but growing up, I've always thought, I know it all and whatever, but you don't know it all. There's always someone who has more knowledge than you, who can get you to from A to B so much quicker and make you earn a lot more money. So I've invested loads of money. I've probably invested close to £50,000 maybe in terms of courses, in terms of mentorships, but that's been returned 10 times more than what I've invested. But people think, I can't invest a few £1,000s into a mentorship because it's a massive risk, but it's not a big risk. If you're willing to put the time in and be disciplined with it, you're going to achieve that end result. And the only reason you won't is because you haven't stayed consistent with things.
Well, you won't do the fucking work.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And you remind me of something very interesting then. Is something I thought was the biggest joke in the world when I was younger was life experience.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is life experience?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
But now at 34, I'm like, I completely understand. Because
Yeah.
even things I know now, I didn't know 12 months ago. I was like, how was I not doing these things? How was like, because you just don't know what you don't know. And at that point, I'd probably still sold, I think, $8 million of stuff online.
Yeah.
So I was clearly not fucking retarded at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
But I knew what I was doing. And this is just where I say to everyone, like, the more you know, the more humble you have to be. That there's always more you can continue to learn and continue to improve. And also with anything in the online space, like the goalposts are always moving because everything is quite fluid in terms of like how social media platforms work, global economies, trends, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's people being able to have a gut feeling and seeing where things are going. Those are the people who are successful, and the people who struggle, the people who are like, well, this is a system I do, this is what works, I'm not changing.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why the mentorship's helpful as well, because of in the weekly calls when you say, look, it's October now, this is what's going to work this month, X, Y, Z. And it just really helps you, because then you start changing your content around, you change around your systems, and it really benefits you going forward as well.
And this is what I'd say, having done this for 7 years, it's like, I've got data coming out my arse in terms of like, this is what happens in August, September. Like, I've done it so many times, it's like, I know exactly what happens. Like, this month, like, you need to sell this month you need to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing every year.
Yeah.
Like, you have Halloween, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year, Valentine's Day, Easter. Like, there's always these different things that we can market and sell around.
Yeah.
And that's where people need to understand is like, the goal from a marketing perspective was we sell the same thing, but just a different wrapper around it to make it sound sexy and appealing to try and pull people in.
Yeah, of course.
Does that work every time? No. But sometimes like you hit out of the park, like, okay, that's sick.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I see so many coaches who on social media, and I think you could do really, really well, but you're just doing everything so wrong. And I was in that position where I had spent so many years not even doing any outreach or not having the right strategy.
I think when you first started, you weren't doing any.
I wasn't doing any outreach, So, I was doing it myself. So I was doing outreach, but I was spending 4 hours a day doing outreach myself, and it was draining me. I was going to sleep. I was thinking, I actually I'm hating this. I'm not enjoying it. And then once you kind of give that off to other people, you can spend more time focusing on the business, focusing on clients, making sure you're training your coach more as well to help provide better transformations. Like my coach I've got on board at the moment has just as much knowledge as me, if not even more, and so it just really helps in terms of results as well.
Would you say you found it challenging at the beginning to start hiring people and like offloading stuff? Because I think that is a big thing a lot of people struggle with, and personally I struggled with that when I first started coaching, which is why at one point I had like 200 plus coaching clients myself, which was insane.
Yeah, no, I was the exact same. I think I had about 120, and I was managing that. It's a nightmare. You all day would be check-ins, but I was in a position where I thought no one is going to do my business better than me. So, and I was thinking there's no chance. I'm not putting that responsibility in someone else's hands. But if you have the right methods in place in terms of hiring, in terms of training, it gets to a point where they are just as good as you, and it saves you so much time, and then you can scale. So,
and I would actually say they're as good as you and better, because it's the analogy that if you take a genius and he's doing 5 things and you give an idiot one thing to do, the idiot's going to win because he's got full focus on just doing one thing. Whereas like you're trying to do marketing, sales, you've got the admin, all this other shit you got to do, and coach the clients. Yeah, you're not going to be 100% all in on that. I think that is something a lot of people really need to take home, is that a particular, if you want to get the business so that you don't have the golden handcuffs where you're having to do all the bullshit and you start to actually hate and resent it. Yeah, the only way to do that is to actually build a team and hire someone to do the shit you don't want to do. Yeah, of course. So that's why with coaching, when somebody who's not kind of in this industry looks at a coach, they think, oh, that's all they do is coaching, but they don't realise it's marketing, sales, advertising, VAs, admin, everything.
there's so many things. You've got to be good at everything. But if you outsource everything and you get people on your team who are good at what they do, then it allows you to really kind of manage the business, and it helps you produce better results and help more people. So that's the end goal, to help more people, and then the financial side of things that aligns with it.
A lot of young coaches look up to you. What would be your advice to them?
I would say master your craft, get to a point where you've got a real good amount of knowledge and you're confident in what you do. You know that you are a good coach. When you're a good coach, you've got to invest your time and money into other people to help you take things to the next level. Because I was at a point where I think you were in contact with me for probably a year.
I think we spoke like a year ago, like August, September last year, maybe first time.
Yeah, and I was in a position where I was like, I don't want to invest time, I don't want to invest money. I was thinking, it's a lot of money from what I've got. If you stay consistent with everything you provide, you are guaranteed to get that money back, unless you're a complete
fucking
imbecile.
retard,
Like it's so simple. Everything's laid out in terms of what you do, in terms of content, in terms of sales, in terms of marketing, everything, even in terms of content ideas as well, and how you manage staff as well, and then you just keep building from there. So I'm at a point where I'm earning 25,000, but there's no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to get up to the 50,000 and even the 100,000 mark at some point, just with kind of how everything's going.
And this is not to blow smoke up your ass, but I can see people when they can do it.
Yeah.
And when, like, I've helped more coaches make over £100,000 a month than probably anyone in the last 12 months. And there's a couple of really easy raw ingredients. There's like, 1, you're in good shape. 2, you actually give a shit about your clients. 3, you're good at making content. And 4, you're growth minded and open to learn stuff. And if you can do that and work really hard consistently, it's not if but when. And a framework I would suggest to think about is like, I've already achieved all the goals I want, but just time hasn't caught up yet. Because if you have the right mindset, you just keep consistent, you will eventually get there.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's just a time thing. And just where most people get disheartened is like, fuck, I've been at like 25k for 3 months, like what the fuck is going on? And like, they lose their mind. It's like, do this rally. Like if I look at like having loads of data, if I look at my Stripe account, it's like this. Like generally it's going up, but like not every month is going up. It's like business isn't a linear thing.
Yeah, of course.
And you can get shit that happens. I think as long as you keep doing the process you are and keep yourself around the right people, which we spoke about a bit in the car. And don't get distracted being a young man in Dubai with money, which can happen, then you'll crush it. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, you just got to focus on those long-term goals, because of over time it is just going to keep going up and up. And scaling the business, back to kind of what we were speaking about a minute ago, is that there's so many really good coaches out there, and I know just from their knowledge, I can see their transformations online, small social media accounts, less than 10,000, who could be really successful. And it's the same the other way around. There's some guys earning a lot of money who are terrible coaches, not even in shape themselves, don't even have the transformations. And if they can do it, then the good coaches can do it as well.
Part of me dies inside when I see, like, we're really good at what we do, so I'll put this delicately. I can help people get really successful coaching businesses, make loads of money, who don't really know anything about fitness.
I know,
because you can just be really good at marketing and systemize the rest of it. But that's something that people should take impetus from. If you're good at coaching, you're also in shape. If you learn the other skills, it's like superpower. Yeah,
of course. And then with those guys who aren't producing the transformations, who are doing well as it is, if they go out and gain the knowledge in terms of kind of nutrition knowledge, training knowledge, do some courses and start getting transformations and get themselves in really good shape themselves, like you said, that would transform their business from. So it's all about having those 4 things you mentioned. If you've got everything in place, then it's just going to go up and up and up.
That, and I think having, like you have, is like a growth mindset and constantly challenging yourself. So like, I said to you, one of the things I've started is like a lot of martial arts. Like, I want to have a boxing fight at some point in the next 12 months. I want to do all this weird shit because I'm looking for things of like, I'm really bad at these things now, so I want to get really good and learn really quick. And I want to challenge myself to go and do something different. Whereas I think everyone needs to have that challenge mentality, in particular as men. Like, we need something to work towards and something to compete with other people in. And I think that's where, if you have that competitive mindset, it'll help you a lot.
100%. I mean, I won't get into boxing myself. I don't want to get my face punched in, but I do kind of challenge myself to do a lot of things. Of course.
But I would even say, from a competitive point of view, even from a business, that's something you clearly have. What's been the biggest mindset shift in your growth?
I think my mindset's changed the whole way through, really. I just genuinely believe that I'm a really good coach. At the start, when I first started coaching, I used to think, I'm not good enough. I I'm not worth this amount for people to invest in, and because I didn't have enough knowledge, I didn't go out there and I didn't gain enough knowledge.
And how did you gain that knowledge, if anyone listening?
Just from going out and doing courses. I've done a lot of courses online. Of course, I've done my PT course, but as everyone who's done a PT course knows, you don't gain any knowledge from that. You've got to go out and do your own research. And then once I started building my own knowledge, I got more and more confident. I also worked on my own physique and got myself in really good shape and started getting a lot of compliments from people. Then I started thinking, right, I'm a good coach.
Did you hire a coach to help you get in shape?
No, I didn't actually.
No,
I've done it all myself. Yeah, but I've known coaches kind of through my life as well, so it's kind of helped me. But everything. I would basically just work on myself to get myself to a point where I did feel confident, and I was producing good transformations as well. And that shifted my mindset, because then I thought, right, I am a good coach. I should be charging a lot more than what this person's charging who's not producing any transformations. And then I started realising that you can make more and more money, and I just wanted to scale it and scale it and scale it. And I want to help as many people as possible. I want my transformation page to be absolutely filled to a point where you've got to be scrolling for hours. So that's a real goal in myself as well.
And that's like the GOAT mentality, and this is something I spoke about at the Manchester workshop, is like, whether you believe it or not right now, is you need to have the GOAT mentality for the greatest of all time of whatever you do.
Yeah.
Because if you walk around and you think you're the fucking shit at what you do and you think you're the best,
yeah,
you will be better just because of the way you carry yourself, the way you think, the decision you make.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I'm not that good, I'm average, I'm okay, that's going to have a very negative effect in terms of like the actions you take, the way you speak to people, the way you sell people, the way you make your content.
Of course.
And that's where I'm naturally very introverted, but I learned to trick myself to become extroverted.
Yeah.
And that first becomes in terms of like the way you think about things, and mostly yourself.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe you're the best at everything you do. And people might say, he's arrogant for thinking that, but it's not arrogance. It's going to really benefit you in all areas in terms of everything, fitness, business, and it's going to benefit you long term, even social skills and everything. And people will start to respect you more if you do believe so much in yourself.
If you don't believe in you, who else will?
Exactly, yeah.
So like, people who see people as arrogant when they're actually people are confident are people who generally are very insecure, and they'll try and put down on other people.
Yeah.
Is that something you've seen? That I think the UK, Ireland has a culture of that. They don't like people to be different and step out and do online coaching or other online stuff. Is that something you've come across?
I wouldn't say so much. I think a lot of people have been they've been kind of quite rewarding and saying you're doing really well and so on, and it has helped me drive. I've always been at a point where I've tried to be kind of help as many people as possible. If you help as many people as possible as well, in terms of not just transformations, but even people with business who come to me and say, look, I need help with this and this, I'll help them, and it's going to benefit you down the line. They might benefit you in other areas. So I've never really had too much criticism. I do on social media, on comments from Facebook, from random like 50-year-olds like calling me a wanker and whatever, but no, I don't get...
So how do you deal with that? Because I get roasted in my comments all the time. I'm sitting on ads.
Yeah, I do as well. I just ignore it. My mum actually gets really annoyed about it. She's like, that wanker is commenting on your face.
My mum does the same thing. I don't even fucking look at it.
Yeah, and I don't even look at it. I'm not even checking them. So it doesn't bother me at all. So I get loads of comments of, hey. But because I'm confident in myself, it doesn't affect me in the slightest. A few years ago, when I was 18, 19, if I got a negative comment about my appearance or something, I'd sit and think about it for 3, 4, 5 days and be really down about it. But right now, I just look at it and I almost laugh and I think, right, like, who are you?
Well, it's also when someone's taking time out of their day to write something hateful on you, don't even fucking know who the person is.
Exactly, yeah. And it really doesn't affect me. It just, all I think is that I'm getting more comments and getting more engagement. It's going to help me reach more people, and it's going to help me do a better job. So they're helping me out.
How many followers do you have on social media at the moment?
So I think I've got 156,000 on Instagram, about 430,000 on TikTok, and then I've got about 85,000 on Facebook.
So for the audience listening, you didn't have this audience a few years ago.
No.
What's been the key things that have helped you to grow that audience?
Trial and error. You've got to be testing lots and lots of different content, whether you're doing lead magnets, you're giving out free guides, whether you're jumping on podcasts, whether you're posting transformations. I've tried so many things out to get to a point where I know before I've even posted it what's going to do well.
What's the biggest mistake you've made with content?
I think when I first started, I was focusing on just posting anything, really. So I didn't have any strategy behind it. I wasn't giving out any free guides. I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking, and it gets there's been two issues, and they contradict each other a little bit. But first of all, I was posting anything, I wasn't getting any views, I wasn't getting any reach. And then another thing I did when I first started was, for a period, I wouldn't post something because I thought, oh, it's not going to get any views. But once you get over that and you think, right, I don't care about likes, I'm not here to be popular, I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to grow a business, I'm here to help people, I'm here to get transformations, and you start just testing things out, then you'll get over that. Like, and that doesn't bother me at all anyway. Like, my main focus now is just growing the business.
I think one of the things that is a big problem on social media, particularly in the fitness industry, is people are looking for vanity metrics in terms of likes, views, virality. Like, yes, that can be great, but it depends what for. So you see some people make some content that's dog shit that gets a lot of views, like lumps, and they're talking about like Todgers and someone's mum or whatever. Like, no one who's serious is going to buy anything from you because it's going to push you away. So I think it's being understanding of how you position yourself and brand yourself. Because people who then do that then get pigeonholed quite heavily in terms of being a bit of a joker, perhaps. Which then, like, do you want a joker as an online coach that's coaching you? Do you want a joker as a business coach coaching you? Like, probably not.
100%. Yeah, there's people who are in the fitness industry who go down the influencer route, and when someone refers to me as an influencer, I feel almost insulted because that's not what I'm trying. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm a coach here. I'm trying to help people. But yeah, you see people online in the fitness industry posting all sorts of things which are getting millions of views, but that's not going to convert into a client. My best content tends to be like things like this, podcasts, where I'm actually giving out information about my past, about my story, and people can relate to it, and it gets hardly any likes. It gets probably 100 likes, whereas some of my other posts are getting, I don't know, 50,000 likes in a couple of them, and I'll probably get less people come in from that than I would from a podcast like this.
Because the other one's more personal, people buy into people.
100%.
Rather than just viral bullshit of like, here's my 3 best tips for bigger biceps or something.
No, definitely. And so I do a lot of that kind of 3 best tips for biggest biceps, which is good. It gives people a lot of information and it gets them kind of onto my page, and then they start learning a bit about me through podcasts and so on, and just through stories. I have a lot of guys say to me on consultation calls, you remind me of myself. And what, like when they were younger? So or vice versa. So for example, they'll come to me and say, oh, I'm really struggling with kind of gym anxiety. They would have seen a post I've talked about gym anxiety with me in the past, and then that's kind of invested them into me and want to work with me, because of I struggled a lot with gym anxiety when I was younger. When I was 17, 18, I first got into gym, I was really skinny. I used to do 20 minutes in there and leave because I hated it. But that's the same thing in terms of building up your confidence. When you do feel more confident, you don't care what anyone thinks. Because if you're so confident in yourself, whatever they think doesn't matter to you. So,
how would you say moving to Dubai has affected you?
It's helped me out so much. Moving out here has made me a lot more focused, because I'm in my zone, I'm living on my own, everything's on my schedule. So it just removes any stress from me. Of course, that's not the fact about living in Dubai, that's just living on my own. But living in Dubai and seeing so many successful people, it really drives you to do better, and you're surrounding yourself with the best in the industry. So every time I do a gym session with somebody crushing it in the online coaching industry, I take so much away from that gym session.
Who's the best person you train with? You don't have to say me, it's fine.
No, because even training with you, it has helped me a lot. Just ask, even 1 or 2 little questions could change my whole week. It could change my revenue for the month. Huge, just 1 or 2 little.
Was it you who said something about a sales call or something? I trained with someone, they said there was something about a sales question they hadn't answered, and like next day they made a load of money.
No, I don't think it was me. But no, I've trained with a lot of guys. I trained with JJ, I trained with Harry Knights, I train with a lot of guys in the same position, and just having little conversations with with them really helps me in terms of just knowledge as well, and especially the events we go to. That was a real game changer, going to kind of the mastermind in Marbella, because at that point I was in quite a bad position, because I'd just come off of so it was just after May bank holiday, was it?
Yeah. And you had a load of client drops off.
I had loads of client drop off. I had a bad month, and I spoke to so many people at that event, and from then I'd never had so much growth. Because I tried to speak to everyone crushing it, basically, and take a little bit from...
I spoke to someone else earlier who said exactly the fucking same thing to me.
Yeah. So I was just trying to get little bits of knowledge from the people who were doing the best, and I took a lot from it, and then I changed a lot of things around, even just to kind of my lead form, to how I kind of jump on consultation calls, how I approach that, and I've really grown from there.
With Dubai, would you recommend it to people who are online coaches moving to Dubai? Do you think it's beneficial?
100%. Yeah, I think that the fitness scene's really good. The gyms are really good. You're going to get really good content. It's easy to film. When in the UK, you think, oh, cool, he thinks I'm an idiot filming it and whatever. But I just feel
no one gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck. Yeah, you can literally go and film 6, 7, 8 videos. Whenever you get fatigued, you go home. You could do the exact same the next day. Whereas in the UK, I'm thinking, oh, should I film on this day? There's going to be this many people in the gym. But that doesn't affect you at all. And just because so many people in Dubai are crushing it, it just really, really benefits you. And I would say you need to be earning a decent amount of money to move 100%. Out here. But that probably encourages people in the UK who are hating their life in the UK to do better and to progress, to get to a point where they think, right, I can move to Dubai now.
100%. I think this is where Dubai is the perfect place for entrepreneurs because of 3 reasons. One, it's tax-free. So if you look at the biggest expense you have in life is tax. Particularly if you're younger, if you can take that off the table, your wealth and income grows much, much quicker. Second is the efficiency of everything in life. Like, you can get everything delivered to you. You can get your apartment cleaned for fuck all. You can, like, everything is on your doorstep. So you're not wasting time doing bullshit you shouldn't be doing. And the third thing is like the network of people in a very small place. Like, everything in Dubai is half an hour away. So you have the best people in the world within 20, 30 minutes. It's super easy to do things like podcasts, go out for dinner with people. Whereas like in London or the UK, it's a nightmare. So that's why that gives people a competitive advantage, in my opinion. And even if you look from a business perspective, if you have a business in the UK that's paying tax, and I live in Dubai and I pay tax, I can spend 20 to 30% more than you on ads to get your customers, and you can just because of the tax advantage.
100%.
So like, I will beat you just because I can outmarket you because I can spend more on the paid side. And that's where most people don't see those things like connecting.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. The biggest reason was because of tax. That's why I moved out here. But everything does align with it in terms of meeting people and everyone doing well. And also, I love the sun. I mentioned to you in the car. I love summer. I don't like winter. It's just depressing. Where out here, I'm in a better mood every single day, and I'm so much more productive. In the morning, I'm getting things done. I'm working through work really quick because I think, right, I want to get out in the sun to walk to the gym at this time. I want to train at this time, and then I just feel like I've got so many more hours in the day being out here, and it's really helping me progress. And of course, I know I've done well kind of the last couple of weeks, but I can see myself growing and growing and growing these next few months, especially moving out here on my own. And it is a bit of a risk. And everyone says to me, "Oh, you're not lonely being out here," and not once have I felt lonely. There's always I feel at ease. I feel like I've got so much time to kind of work on the business. There's never a point where you think, oh, right, I'm bored now, because you can just go and do something business-wise. So, Why do you think some online coaches struggle with being lonely? Because I actually spoke to another Irish guy this morning who randomly was in the same building as me. Who said he feels quite lonely and isolated. I think, in my opinion, that's people who don't go out of their way enough to get in the right networks and communities. Of course. I feel almost the other way around. I feel like people invite me places and I don't want to go there.
Yeah, dude, I'm saying I say no all the time.
Because of I think in Dubai it is easy to be social. If you're going into the gyms and you're chatting to people, I'm quite a chatty guy now. I never used to be. I used to be quite kind of introverted, and I wasn't kind of very confident at school, in classes and whatnot. But as I've got older and I've felt more confident in myself, similar to what I was saying previously, I am kind of quite out there. I'm quite social. So even in the gym, I'm chatting to people all the time, and you do get invited to places. But at the moment, I want to be kind of in the zone. It's a bit, don't know if I can say it, but I'm a bit kind of autistic in a schedule where I want to be staying consistent with kind of my schedule. And as soon as I muck that up on a Saturday, I'm thinking, oh, I'm stressed now for the next few days.
That's why, in my opinion, you will never see anyone who's a great entrepreneur who drinks a lot. Because like, even if you're fucking amazing, you're performing at 6 out of 10. Because like half the week you're fucked and hungover and recovering from it. You're sleep deprived, your brain's not working properly. Whereas if you look at people who really crush it, they're doing all the things to like become like the ultimate human being, like the entrepreneur almost. Rather than like what traditional societies is like the opposite, where like you don't work the weekends, you drink, take drugs, you do all this other stuff. And people have to understand that's like one of the things that sets people back massively. Because if you're, for example, comparing how well your brain works, your life is dependent upon the decisions you make, which comes from how well your brain functions. So if you're impaired for half of the week how is that going to compound for you over a period of time? Pretty badly.
Of course. If you asked me a year ago, what's your biggest weakness, I'd say alcohol, and 100%, because of it. As you mentioned, it damaged you for 3-4 days. And probably about a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half ago, I was drinking quite a lot over the course of that summer. I was in Marbella, and it was affecting my business. I'd wake up on a Monday and I'd think, I'm dreading this week. Whereas every week, Monday now, I wake up think I'm going to crush this week, and I feel really confident and I'm really working towards more goals. But I'm stressed the whole time every time I drink alcohol. I haven't had a drink out here. So
what was the change for you to stop doing that?
Just because my mindset shifted from beforehand, I used to like going out and I used to think, I just want to go out and have a good time. But then my business became more of a priority than going out and being social. So I get more.
How did that happen?
Because I get more satisfaction from doing well in my business than going out and having a good laugh with my mates. So of course, I'm not a robot. I'll still go out once in a while, but it almost stresses me out going out, because I'm thinking about the days after and thinking, oh God, I can't do this, can't do that, can't do this with business, and I'm trying to compete with myself business wise, and that's more important for me. And I feel better doing well in business than I would from a night out.
And this is a framework I'd think about, is if you look back in 10 years' time, will you regret the nights out you didn't go on, and would you regret the work you didn't do that didn't get you in the position that you want to be in?
Exactly.
Like, it's fairly obvious which one's going to be more important. Like, I was a degenerate when I was younger, like 18 to 24. Like, if I could go back and change those things and know what I know now, like, you'd be in a different ball game.
What I say now is that don't go out unless you're rewarding yourself. If you've done really, really well in terms of business, then go out and have a good laugh, whatever, spend a bit of money, and then you're back into it. It's almost like
it's a reward mechanism.
Yeah, it hits you hard, and you think, right, I'm feeling shit, depressed now. I'm getting back on it again, and then you go again for the next 6 weeks.
I don't know if you
8 weeks.
get that. If you eat a load of junk food, the next day you just feel like shit. And you're like, why did I do that? Like, I don't want to do that again. Like, I get like brain fog and I don't feel great, and I'm like, this is exactly why I don't eat like this. And that's when you actually realise this is what like 99% of the population feel like every single fucking day.
Yeah. There's so many things you see online now in terms of kind of podcasts, in terms of just on social media, and it says the bar is so low. To be kind of top 10%, even top 1% is so low. And I look at people and I just think, what are you doing? Like, sometimes I'll be talking to guys on consultation calls, and they'll say, oh, I don't know whether I need to invest. And I'm just thinking, I could really completely change your life here. You could be a completely different person in 6 months, a year time, not just in terms of physique, in terms of mindset, how you go about things. There's a lot
relationships.
of relationships. A lot of guys come on calls with me just down in the dumps. So I can't do this, she hates me, my family hates me. And it's like, you're 6 months to a year away to become the best possible version of yourself, where people could look at you completely different and you could be a completely different person.
And that's the knock-on consequences of the decisions you make. So like, everything you do in life is either going to take you towards where you want to go or away from it. But most people don't realise they're in like a negative downward spiral. When you're in that trap, it's difficult, which is why it's important to, like, you have to do something as a big change to get momentum to come back. Because the reality is, if you've been out of shape for 10 years, like, you're not just going to click in and I'm going to change tomorrow. Unlikely. That's why someone needs to commit to someone like you in terms of changing their life, so they can actually like have someone actually keep them accountable for it. Because like fitness, most people know what the fuck you need to do. Like, eat less calories, move a bit more. In general, you're going to lose weight. But the big thing they need is actually, they need to have skin in the game and actually like pay their ignorance tax down by like hiring a coach to help them, to make them do the fucking thing.
That's what I say. I always say the hardest thing is starting, because as soon as you invest in yourself and you've started, it's all about building momentum from there, changing things around to structure, routine, training, nutrition. Then we can really kind of make great progress. So it's just that initial decision to say, right, I really want to make the change now. I'm sick of how I'm feeling, how I'm looking, how I go about day-to-day life, and then you've got it. You're sorted. And fitness should always be a number one priority. Everything about life is about priorities, and people don't have their priorities straight. I remember when I first started coaching, I was charging next to nothing. I was charging 80, 90 pound a month, and I'd have guys say to me, oh, I can't afford that. Of course, I was working with like 18, 19 year olds, and at the time I was a bit younger, and I'd see them out on the weekend spending 200, 300 quid on alcohol and food takeaways, and it's about how much you really want it. If you really want to change yourself and you don't want to be feeling kind of down in the dumps and depressed for your whole life, then you need to say, right, I need to stop going out drinking, eating shit food, and I need to transform my physique, and that's going to benefit me in terms of kind of business wise, like for myself, because of when I changed my physique, everything changed from there because I was an unconfident kid.
Yeah, and I became confident. When I first got abs, I was like, this is sick.
Exactly, yeah. So you start feeling good about yourself, you're feeling confident, and then from then I started thinking, oh, what's the next thing I can do? And then eventually I get into business, then I'm thinking, what's the next thing I can do? And I'm always progressing to more goals, and that's what probably shifted my mindset from going out and having a good time to focusing on business, because there's nothing I can progress on from going on nights out. It's going to be the same. I'm going to feel shit for 3 days and get absolutely twatted, and then
the cycle repeats.
Yeah, the cycle repeats. But business wise, there's always more and more you can do. So if I haven't done as well of a month as the previous month, I get really annoyed with myself, and I'm like, oh, what do I need to do next month to do better? But yeah, I'm in a position now where I'm working with the kind of guys I want to be working with. I'm working with guys between the age of kind of 30 to 60, doing really well. And I get such satisfaction in them saying, oh, you've changed my life. Even within the space of kind of 3-4 months, they say, look, I'm a completely different person. And then I jump on calls with them. You can start seeing even in their face change in terms of how lean they are, their persona, how their body language is, and that makes you feel good as well. So that's a real focus of me now, rather than going out and getting drunk.
And I'd say one thing I take from what you said is the 3 most important things in life is one is health, because if you don't have your health, you're pretty fucked, because you're going to die and you can't perform at the level you want. Number 2 is like personal relationships, whether it's with your family, partners, clients, friends. And number 3 is money. Like if you have money, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Yeah. And if you have the first 2 locked down, then you're sorted. And I think that's where most people don't understand how simple it really is to complete and get everything you want in life. Yeah. If you just do those things in the right order and you stay consistent and stay curious, then you can have whatever you want.
Yeah, definitely. And people with kind of health issues, you don't really think about your health until you get those health issues. As soon as you have a health...
You don't take it seriously, you've got a big problem.
Exactly, yeah. And then when you've got that big problem, you start thinking, oh, I wish 5 years ago I really made a change and started investing in my health.
And I would actually say I see the same thing with people with their business. People are like, yeah, I'm fine, I don't need help. And then like 2 months later, they reach out and they're fucked and their business is struggling. It's like... It's then difficult trying to fix someone when they're in a downward spiral and they've got no momentum. Yeah. And this is where I'd say to people is like, if you're in a position right now you're comfortable, that's the most dangerous position to be in, because if you're actually at the same level, you're going backwards, because inflation every year is like 10%. So you're going back constantly, but you just don't see it yet. And what will happen is you'll probably have a click event where your business will start to go backwards quite quickly. And that's where you're then going to be on the back foot, downward spiral, and then trying to deal with the problem.
Of course. There's so many coaches who are comfortable, who actually think, what are you actually doing with your week? It's a waste of time. Because there's some people with next to no clients, they post a little bit on social media. But
I know what their post would be. They'll take a photo of their screen being like client check-ins.
Why the fuck are you posting that? I even used to do that when I first got started. It's stupid. It's just to feel like you're doing something. But what you really need to be doing is doing a lot of work. Like the last 2 days I've been non-stop from the moment I've woken up to the moment I've gone to sleep. But that's not just client check-ins, which what it used to be. It's now focused on managing the business and kind of teaching staff and so on.
What would you say to anyone who's afraid of the hard work it takes to get to where you want to be, or to where you are?
You're not going to be successful unless you put the work in. Of course, there's so many ways you can speed up results and you can get yourself to where you want to be, but it's about discipline. You can put so many hours in and get nothing back, and you've just got to keep going and more hours, and then eventually something will come your way and it'll be massive. So I say discipline is so important. Same as in fitness, you've got to be the exact same in business as well.
It's funny you say that, because the thing that's made me successful in business was I was successful in fitness. Because the same character traits are the same. It's like, if you can be disciplined, you can turn up when you don't want to do it and you just still do your thing. If you can delay gratification, like if you stick to your diet today, you're not shredded tomorrow. Like same with business. Like you make a piece of content today, you've got 1 million followers tomorrow. Like, if you can actually see those correlations across, it's then understanding that if you are successful and actually get in good shape and you manage your body, you apply that to your business, you'll kill it as well. Actually, that's I think where most people don't see how simple it is at a certain point.
100%. And that's the same with as you'll see yourself kind of with running the fitness business. You'll see some of the guys who get the best results have the busiest work lives. Businessmen, where
because they're just switched on, they just do it.
They do it, and they fit it into their routine. And some of the people who don't get as good results are people who are just kind of feeling sorry for themselves. So that's why if someone comes to me feeling sorry for themselves and thinking, oh, like, oh, my family hates me, my friends hate me, and whatever. The first thing I want to change to them is their mindset. That's what you want to do, kind of first few weeks, really focus on mindset, get them into a routine, and then they can keep progressing and making sure they're nailing training, nutrition. Because if you don't have the mindset going into a transformation, you're not getting anywhere.
Thoughts become things. The way you think about yourself is a hugely important thing, and having respect for yourself. And people lack confidence because they don't have the ability to actually hold true and do the things they say they're going to do. And that's where people like stick to my diet from Monday and then they fuck up again like 3 days later, and that's why they have no confidence. So like if you can set yourself tasks and you actually see them through, like, I'll do it at the gym. I'm like, I don't know, I did it on Sunday. I did 30 minutes on rowing machine in one go. I've never done it before. It's not an amazing achievement, but I was like, I've never done it. I was like 25 minutes. I'm like, this really fucking sucks. I was like, I've got pins and needles in my glutes and I can't feel my feet. And I'm like, you said you can do it, don't be a fucking pussy. You can do 30 minutes. So like, you're not getting off for 5 minutes to just keep going. And I think when you just have that mentality, you then have more confidence in yourself because you're like, well, I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to fucking do it. Yeah,
definitely. And everything's about confidence and discipline. So as a coach, I want to inject confidence into my clients, and I want to say, look, I've got this experience, I know this and this. This is exactly what you need to do, and I'll guarantee you results. And it's the same from you to me. When you say something to me, you say it with such confidence, I don't doubt it in the slightest. Where you've got so many coaches out there who will say, oh yeah, do this, but they're a bit kind of
ambiguous.
Where you got to be, look, I can tell you this will get you results, because I like the fact that you, to me, you're straight to the point. It's not this, right, this. You send me 5 words and I'll know exactly what I need to do.
It's kind of funny you say that. I recorded a training for the mastermind on how to scale on YouTube because we're doing really well with that, and my fitness channel's got about 19 million views, and I think it's like 10, 12 videos. I don't think any of the videos are over like 5-6 minutes. Because I'm like, none of this is that fucking complicated. It's like I looked back and through, I'm like, these are all actually really short. It explains everything. And this is actually the most important thing I'd give to anyone as a huge power, is that if you can get your point across in as minimal words as possible and as quickly as possible, that's what people want.
Exactly.
So like, your clients want the easiest way to get the results possible. People who work with me like yourself want the easiest way of, like, you don't want a fucking 4-hour video which has like 10 seconds of value in it. You just rather have it 10 seconds. So I just want to give people the 10 seconds of the thing of like, here's the solution, do this. Don't do all this other bullshit because it's a waste of time.
100%. That's similar to when I first started the coaching business. With my check-ins, I used to worry, I wonder if my check-ins are long enough, and I used to be rambling on, and I think, right, I'm going to shorten the check-ins down. I'm going to say exactly what they need to do for the next week. And they were thanking me for it. They were saying, you're really direct, you're really to the point, and they'd go away and get better results.
That's what people like, because we live in a world now where people pussyfoot around, but like being like, oh well, no, like just fucking tell them what you have to do.
Exactly.
Like, do this. Come back next week. If you've got any questions, let me know. Because fitness and business is the same thing, and people who want to be successful just want to be told what to do.
Exactly.
And then it's down on that person just to go and execute and do the thing.
100%. It's the same even in kind of social life. Like with my mates, if they send me a voice note and they're rambling on going, I'm like, mate, just tell me what I need to know, and then that's it. I'll put them on 2 times speed and just...
Right, we had a sales guy who worked for us. He used to send me like 8-minute voice notes. I was like, I'm not listening to it. Just like, you have 30 seconds, or like, don't send me voice notes. So it's like... That's a huge thing, is people just ramble on. And that's actually the quickest way you can lose clients, quickest way you lose sales. Like, even if you think about people's attention spans are so short because of the way social media is as well, like, you have to be really concise. And if you look at the most powerful, impactful people, they don't say a lot, but when they say something, someone listens, because they're like, okay, that's important. It's about being efficient with your time, really. What would you say to anyone who's on the fence about reaching out and getting help in terms of building their business?
I would say you've got to do it. It's the only way you're going to scale, because before I joined with you, I was doing well myself, but I spent so many hours into it, but I was at a point where I couldn't get any further. I didn't have the knowledge or structure to get to that next level. I was going to earn the exact same amount. I'd done it for 3-4 months in a row, and I knew that I needed to get in contact with you. As I mentioned, I didn't have any VAs in place. That was a game changer. Even pricing was a game changer. How you kind of approach consultation calls. There's so many different things which I didn't even think about, even kind of planning content. We've got kind of software behind that as well. So I'd say take the jump. I spent probably a year before I actually jumped on with you. I wish I'd done it earlier. But
why did you not do it earlier?
the reason for
because I was actually really fucking pissed off at the time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, when I can see someone who's good, I'm like, dude, you're not doing any of this stuff. This is so easy.
Yeah.
Like, you'll make so much more money so much quicker.
I'll be completely honest. The reason that I didn't invest was because I was being too social and I was going out too much.
I actually got that impression.
Yeah, because at the time I was going out most weekends. Of course, I was still working really hard Monday to Friday, but then because I was working so hard on the business, I had so much to do because I had 120 clients myself, and I think I had my coach on board at that time, but he didn't have many clients. So I was spending my whole day, Monday to Friday, working on the business, and then I thought that the only time I could actually focus on what you give me would be the weekend whilst I was going out. So what I really should have done is said, look, I'm not going out for 6 months. But then I got to a point where I said in my head, look, as soon as I move over to Dubai, I'm going to jump on board with you. Haven't drunk, and I just really invested my time on the weekends, and then eventually it gets to a point where I've got so much more free time to just work on the business now.
100%. Where's the best place for people to find out more about you?
Probably my Instagram now. It started off with TikTok and now Instagram. Eventually I want to go into long form content, but yeah, definitely Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle?
Ollie Rhoda.
Cool. Everyone who took a load of value from that, make sure you give Ollie a follow. If you want help in terms of scaling your online coaching business to have success like Ollie has, if you hit the link below this video, you can book in a free call with us. It's not a sales call, it's basically a coaching call. We will help you to try and actually make more money with a selfish interest. You can actually join our program, or we can help you go to the next level. So if you hit the link below this video, you can book in a free call for that. And if you took value from this podcast, smash the like button, subscribe, comment below any questions, and we'll see you next episode soon.
Thank you.
Dude. That was really, really good.
Cheers, mate.